Julia, do you want to
Heather, you do it,
please?
girl. You got it.
I'd like to call the Douglas School Committee to order in regards to DESPA negotiation with the school committee on June 13th at 4:09 PM. Can I have a roll call vote? Who's present from school committee, please?
Julia Lagerholm, present.
Heather Moran, present. Ready to go, everybody.
Thanks, Heather.
Great.
Okay, hello. I'm glad I'm here.
Glad you made it.
Not in a truck or something being towed. Okay, so I know that we provided a counter package to you.
Yes.
Which, in a sense, is incomplete
Yes.
because we have not yet gotten back to the wages portion of this.
Right.
Which we've had a bunch of discussion about, but, and I think maybe Paula sort of posed this question to you, and it probably is a question to pose to all of you for tonight's purposes, which is although we have kind of where we are on other language pieces as part of a counter, we don't have that wages piece yet because, for two reasons. One, we need to have more discussion in terms of kind of the budget impact, et cetera. But two, I think we were looking for direction on kind of where to put the money, because where we left off was having the discussion about the holidays, for example, COLA, other things that would be money contingent. So as often is the case, when there's just sort of one, one pie, so to speak, the idea is to figure out where best to sort of apply it.
So Paul framed that question to me on Monday.
Yeah.
We discussed it. You asked specifically if it was vacation time or hourly rate that was more important. I said what we've been saying, which is that they're both important in the overall scheme, right? We're looking at overall compensation. We're looking at people not getting smaller payments on vacation time. So we can't, I mean, if you're saying that you need more time to work out the wages right now, please take that. We can't really touch the rest of the package without the wages there. So if you guys need to finalize that, please do. We thought that you'd be coming either with it today or you had said sort of.
We were looking at it, and as Greg alluded to, Courtney and I sat and met, and, your package proposal is pushing $200,000 above where we currently are at, and.
Over 3 years. Over 3 years, or over 1 year?
I think it was over the first year. Courtney and I talked, and what we don't want to do is we don't want to propose something that we know we can't either afford and sustain, and we don't want to be back at the table in 26 or 27, coming back and saying, in order to sustain this contract that we agreed to in 25, we need to lay off 7 paras and 3 ABAs. So with the year closing out and us closing out our books for FY '25, we'll have a clearer picture of things. You provided some direction, James, for it, but again, in 48 hours, we didn't have enough time to turn that around.
So please take the time that you need then, because
We won't tonight be able to do that.
on the wages?
Correct. As I said, we close out the FY '25 year.
I'm sorry, but, so why are,
We're looking at the language.
it's a package. You all instituted package bargaining, which means you shared a package of what you'd be able to accept.
Yep.
We did the same. A package without wages isn't a package, it's a half-finished idea. If you guys aren't gonna have a response tonight, this is a waste of time to be here.
Well, we TA'd a lot of the language. I don't know if you want to look at the language.
It's a package bargaining means that we don't talk about individual language anymore. The entire point of a package is that you give, what was in your words, a take it or leave it offer. You gave us a take it or leave it offer. We said no. We gave you a take it or leave it offer in response, where we highlighted all the places we changed. And now you're half responding to individual proposals instead of giving people who've been waiting for 2 weeks a real salary counter?
There's no way to respond to this without a wage.
I'm sorry, John, hold on one second. Go ahead, yeah.
There's no way to respond to this counter without a wage proposal.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think it's been 1 week.
Sure.
But,
1 week.
and because I think that's sort of the point, is that it's been a very quick turnaround. So, if that's what it means in terms of, you know, rounding out the package for you guys to have to counter, if it's really contingent upon the wages piece, then, you know, we can work on that and get that to you. I think
So-
Oh,
Okay, no, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah, it's
sorry,
okay.
finish.
No worries, yeah. I think the way that we were approaching this was understanding that we've been making progress in a number of areas. The attempt was to say, look, here's things that we can do, and if there was feedback on those things, great, to talk about them, and then we could sort of place in the wage piece.
Okay, so I haven't had a ton of time to go through this, once again, because there hasn't been a ton of time. I looked through this briefly, and what was, you know, offered, and there are some things in here that are acceptable, but there are some things in here that are not acceptable. One of the things that I want to note is a lot of what we have asked for that were important to us have been rejected or have a counter that's still not acceptable. We're trying to work with everyone and everything, but, so you're saying that our package that we brought to the table last time is $200,000 over what you budgeted for? Is that correct? Did I misunderstand that?
Let me defer to
Yeah,
you guys.
just under 200,000, yep.
Over
Just
what,
FY '25 only.
With that 4% increase.
That's not
in
with the,
addition.
yep, and also, you know, the holidays, the 2PD, yeah.
Can we take
yeah.
a quick caucus
Yeah,
and then come back here?
I think we need to.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, yep. Okay. Okay, thank you. So let me just sort of overview for you what we talked about, which was, to your point, James, understanding that you would want a financial component to round out the package proposal. To offer a little bit of insight into what I was alluding to before, in addition to needing discussion about what can be afforded, another large portion of the discussion was how the committee would put something in front of you in terms of a wage component, right? What that would look like, the holidays, et cetera. So in the package that we had sent before, there already are a couple of components that have additional money tethered to it. So the 2 PD days, additional longevity. So there's a richer package, so to speak, already there. But we have an additional piece that we'll offer to you as part of that package to round out the package. All of this is said, one, to kind of just let you know sort of, one, the thought process, but two, we're also trying to think creatively about how we would do this. And so we have a proposal that we want to put forward for you in terms of a mechanism that obviously will cost some money to the district, but we think kind of answers a couple of things that we've been discussing as well. So I don't know if you want to hand it out and read it. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't have the color on the staples. You want an extra copy?
Yes, please. Thank you. Sure.
Where is it in here?
It is on the financial pieces on. Starts on page 7.
Okay.
Page 7.
Oh, here it is, yeah, okay. Okay, so if it's page 7 of this doesn't have, so I think it's 1, 2,
The one that starts with the wage
5,
schedule.
6, yeah, well, so you'll see, it's the page that has the holidays on it. And then if you move down to the paragraph below it, you have, and I'll read it for the purpose of folks here. Members of DESPA who do not use a sick day in a 1 month, i.e. first day, I'm filling in the i.e. first day of the month through the last day of the month, so we're defining what that month would look like, period, will earn a 0.5 paid time off days a month to only be used when school is not in session. These days do not carry over and cannot be used after the last day of school. Members of DESPA will only be able to accrue a total of 4 PTO days a year. Personal days and professional development days will not count against members of DESPA. So that's what we'll offer to round out the package proposal, and it's also something that we think is kind of a creative way of addressing some of the things that you guys said are important to you, and sick time issues on our end.
And then the wage proposal is?
Otherwise stays the same from what we had offered last time.
And it looks like in this package, you are rejecting all of the holidays? Or are you including all of the holidays?
The intention is to include the holidays that were previously offered, so there's 3 additional holidays.
So in the package you gave us originally,
Right?
at the start of today.
I don't know, I was printing quickly, so
You had included a tentative agreement in the additional 9 holidays. And in this package,
Hold on.
you seem to not have an agreement on the additional 9 holidays.
Hold on, James. Which document are you referring to? What year? What month?
The one that you emailed us yesterday regarding the June 13th response that we were thinking you were going to finish with wages today. You included a tentative agreement for proposal 15, the 8 additional holidays. And in the one that you just gave us, you are now countering that without the additional holidays.
I might, are you saying that 15 goes from that page where it says the following paid holidays and employees' pay rate, that goes all the way through the second page?
Yes, that is one proposal from number 15.
Okay, and that was our error. We were just TAing that top paragraph,
It's on that page.
on that page.
So you didn't have a counter of any sort on the holidays, is what you're saying?
So I think this goes to James's point when we started the meeting, that he was hoping that there would be a financial component to the counter, and the way that the conversation was couched, what else to call offline before today's purposes, was Paul asking the question of, can we have some direction to the committee about how we can best couch an economic proposal? So, and this is what I was trying to convey, there's been a lot of discussion here about what might be the best way to do that, to address what you guys have said to us, and how to do that. And then after James had said that you guys would like some part of, or some financial component to round out the package, what we've decided is to offer that PTO proposal
I just
to you.
wanted to be clear.
And you expect us to make a decision tonight?
I hadn't said that.
I didn't say you did, I'm asking a question.
Well, I'll leave that to you. If that's something that you guys need to chew over, that's fine. I don't know, I'm not sure, you
I
seem to be mad about it. I mean, it's just something that
I'm,
we're trying to.
no, I'm not mad. What I am is I am completely and thoroughly disappointed.
Yeah,
We came here in good faith for a negotiation over a contract. We gave you, you gave us a package, we gave you a package, your package said, accept or don't accept. We didn't accept, we came back up with our own package. We're coming here on the 14th, we're sitting down, and we don't have a wage.
you do now.
We do. Not an acceptable one.
That may be the case, but that's the wage proposal.
Okay. I think that we have wasted a lot of people's time tonight, unfortunately.
We have done what you've asked, which is to give you a counter package proposal, which includes a financial component.
You didn't come here with a financial package prepared to give us.
That's not correct.
Well, you gave us a package. You asked what was most important.
We were at all times, I mean, this is why Paul reached out to James, transparent about what we were trying to do, both leading up to this meeting and at this meeting. In response to James, you saying you really would like some kind of financial component to the package that we've already put together, we've rounded that out.
A package isn't a package if it doesn't include how much people are going to get paid.
It does now.
Congratulations.
I don't know why you're congratulating me.
There's no need for snarkiness. Your proposal came in at 187,000. It's too much, so the answer is no.
Okay. That's what we needed.
Thank you.
The proposal that's counter is 111 over their budget. So for want of 70,000, you want to engage in theatrics, knock yourself out. But this is actually a pretty solid proposal that addresses some of your major concerns
But it,
and costs the district a significant sum of money over what they had budgeted.
That is appreciative.
Okay?
It is also,
Go ahead, James, I can't do it.
it's just on face value, looking at this, it
The
seems
budget
to,
limitation is what it is.
it seems
And all
to,
the argument in the world will not move the needle.
it seems to be regressive from what the district even gave us yesterday,
No,
based on
that
its
was
treatment
68,000, and
of
now you're up to
holidays.
111, which is almost doubling. So that's
James, I
not
think you're-
regressive.
I am
And James, I
not,
think-
No, I'm not
can
going to
I,
play your theatrical
can I,
game anymore.
can I be specific?
Go ahead. You're concerned about money, we just doubled their offer,
It is,
and that's not good enough.
how did you double the offer? Can you explain that?
$68,000 cost, 111.
So where is that in the package? Can you explain where these numbers are
The
that you're
things that
talking
you have
about?
been offered.
Which are, what
Additional
specifically?
holidays,
The three that the
changes to pay
district,
rates.
So
let's back up because this is extremely helpful for me. What in this proposal that you just handed us represents those changes in funds that you just said? Because the holidays look like they are exactly the same as the district proposed last time.
yeah, let me find it, James, for you.
So I'm trying to figure out where you're saying this counter has any financial increase compared to the previous one. Quite honestly, I do not understand. And quite honestly, I am not attempting to be theatrical. That would be, I'll go into that another time. But the fact that I'm having a hard time getting over that you gave us a proposal in writing that included a specific TA for 17 holidays. You are now giving us one that says that that was not correct and it's 8
Yeah,
holidays.
James, I think
You
you're-
can, please let me finish if you'd like clarity. And I'm trying to figure out where this extra money you're talking about is in here, so please enlighten us.
I need to address that, James, because there's two different things that you're saying there. One is the accusation of regressive bargaining.
Right.
And in so doing, you're clearly like taking a couple of things and mixing them together because no, now let me finish. Now let me finish.
You have not answered our
No, James, let me
specific
fin-
questions about this
I gave you the courtesy
package.
of letting you finish. I asked that you do
Will
the
you
same.
answer our question about the package before you scold me about
I'm
regressive
not looking
bargaining?
to scold you, James. I'm trying to talk to you about how this all unfolded.
Please give us the numbers first, and then please do so, because this
James,
does not look like...
I'm not gonna do this the way that you want it to be done. I'm not gonna do that,
Very
James.
clearly true, yes.
Okay, thank you. Look, there was dialogue from Paul to you about how tonight was going to unfold, right?
Correct. He said
Okay.
he'd be coming with a wage proposal at the start or with a little bit of lead time.
Okay. And there was discussion about advancing a proposal to you for the benefit of you guys being able to see it to
Correct.
prepare for tonight, right? We gave you that courtesy. That's the point of what we were trying to do, right?
But
Can we agree upon that?
but you didn't give us the whole package, you didn't give us the
Let's
wage.
let
But
him
the
finish
point
his
of
thing so we can hear
providing
about
what
the
we
money.
did in advance was to give you a heads up as this is the beginning of our thinking. We want you to have the chance to be able to review it so then we can hit the ground running today. What we have gotten in response are these series of accusations that things are different, that wasn't good enough. We're trying to have a dialogue with you, and it feels like all you're trying to do is trip up our good faith efforts to talk to you. That's what this feels like.
Will you answer our questions about the money?
Yes. So on the previous, on the page that starts with the top, the district shall attempt to include both more senior member, that page, I believe, and again, I don't have my colors in front of me, we made or added to the mandatory training, which was not in our original proposal. So right above number 15, we added mandatory training will be provided to members of DESPA. So that's two additional days added to the base.
Okay.
The other thing we were looking to do, based off of what we spoke about and what we heard was, one of the concerns was that over Thanksgiving, Christmas, and April breaks, there was shortened checks. Your proposal came in looking for the day after Christmas, the day after Thanksgiving, the day after Christmas, the day after Patriots' Day and the day after President's Day. And we're countering with the pay time off concept, which, with perfect attendance, you have the ability, for sick days, you have the ability to earn 4 additional paid time off days to be used when school is not in session. So for instance, we have, I think, 1 or 2 members who have perfect attendance. They would earn 0.5 days a month, so a total of 1 day every other month, which would then allow people to use that how they see fit, whether to have all February off, to have that day after Thanksgiving off, to have the day after Christmas off, to have the day after Patriots' Day off, to have the day after President's Day off.
Understood. Is there anywhere else that the finances have increased in this?
I believe those were the 2 major things. I think we, and again, I don't want to, we agreed or counted with a 10-year proposal, but it was $250. So that was that. But those were the,
So you're saying that the ability for people who are never sick and never injured and never take a sick day to get half a day of pay is your solution for people getting partial checks over breaks?
it's the beginning of a conversation.
I don't have any other questions. Any thoughts?
Yes, but I don't know if I should say them out loud. Almost.
So you have a package proposal in front of you. Why don't you let us know how you'd like to proceed?
It doesn't work.
Okay. Well,
There are-
provide us some
Excuse
sort
me,
of
can I
counter.
finish?
Of course you can finish.
Thank you. We had started these negotiations, and we started them right from the beginning. We came out with items that were most important to us. Things that had been done over the course of the last 3.5 years that were important to our union. Those have all been, pretty much all of them have been rejected. Health and safety, we can't talk about health and safety, that's a managerial directive. I can understand that that needs to not be in the contract, but it needs to be, a piece of that needs to be in the contract, but I'm not going to get into that debate with you. We asked about annualized wages, and everyone's like, nope, that goes against the law, blah, blah, blah. We still haven't heard about that either. So I don't know where that ball got dropped. That's never been answered. That happened on the first day of our negotiation. It's never been answered. We have done some creative thinking with holidays and wage schedules and personal days to try and help staff have a consistent paycheck over the school year. What I struggle with most is the items that were important to us. The items that we want to negotiate have been rejected multiple times with no feedback, no conversation, no anything. We have been plugging away, trying to come up with a way to make this work for everyone. And I'm sorry if we're $200,000 over the budget. I don't know that. That's the first time we've heard that. It's the first time anyone's giving us any numbers to work with. This, tonight, is disappointing. I would have hoped that we were more important, that we were more respected, because I don't feel like we are. I don't feel like what's been offered is fair, is just, and what we want. And I get from the money point. I understand your money point. I honestly and truly do. And we're not asking to, or expecting you to find a way over $200,000 a budget. But we don't make a livable wage. And yes, we all knew what we signed up for when we took this job, but we thought our cost of living wasn't going to go so high, and that we'd still be able to make a living. And when we signed up for this job, nowhere in our job descriptions does it say we're going to be bit, kicked, swore at, threatened, or any of that. We didn't know that when we signed up for this job. Yes, we understand it's a piece of it, but not on a daily basis, and this has been happening on a daily basis. So I honestly and truly don't think that we're being heard. And I hate to say that. I really don't want to say that. But I feel by looking at this contract, we're not being heard. We're not being heard by what's important. And I honestly don't know what else to say to that. We can't accept this as it is right now. There are other areas that we need to reevaluate and look at. And I don't know why we had to go to a package deal to begin with. I mean, the back and forth has been relentless. And this, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And I don't want to be the one to say that, but I feel like the people of this union that are showing up every meeting or getting on Zooms and giving positive feedback and input deserve better. They deserve more. And that I have to say that's where we stand. And we'll have to come back to the table, whether it be August or end of August or September, because this isn't getting done tonight. It's not. The pieces that were important were rejected. And we counted and we counted and we counted, and they got rejected, rejected, rejected.
Can I pipe
Yeah,
up?
of course.
So, I kind of came into this a little late in the game, and I caught up real quick. I've been behind the scenes a little bit on our end, and I know you guys don't feel that way, but I do think that, I know that we're trying to be creative, and we want to be creative, and we want it to work. And it's tough, man. Like, we want to make you guys as whole as possible, so you can live and you stay, and so you can afford to love what you do. At the same time, there's the stakeholders of the town and everybody else, so it's like, it's such a balancing act, right? And we don't want to give everything only to take it away in a few years or not fund other services that are equally as important. And so it's such a balancing act, and I can genuinely say that everybody here is, I think, wants the same thing, and that is a package, not necessarily package, a contract that you guys can live with and that we can make happen as a district. I would urge you, and take this as you take it, and please take it in the best of light, is to continue to be patient. Because I think these things have a way of growing, of snowballing, but into a good thing. If we can get a decent contract under our feet for you guys, then in 3 years, it'll be that much bigger and that much more to add on to. Perhaps add additional things that we weren't able to add this time, because it's been budgeted into the district, into the budget. And I really think that we can make this work. I think we can remain collaborative. I think we all have the same goal. We all just want to live, and,
And you're right, and I appreciate that. And that's why for the last 3.5 years, I have taken notes of everyone's comment, concern, issue. I have a clear contract, and they have notes on the back of what has affected people. And that's what we started with in our original. And at least I had it.
We dropped a good chunk, maybe a dozen proposals, maybe less, I'm not sure.
Were rejected with no counter, with no conversation.
And I hear you, I do, and that's, if we could give you the world, or if I could, I would.
This contract, or this package right here, this isn't what DESPA asked for. This isn't what DESPA wanted. And they all have access to our contract. They all know what our original looked like. They all know what our counters were. There were certain things that were important, and they've been rejected, and rejected.
And that is terrible and feels awful, I imagine. I'm not sitting on your side, right? But I can
It does.
understand.
It feels like nobody's listening.
But it doesn't mean we're not listening, it just means it's not feasible at this very moment and/or warrants further discussion, right?
So I do want to just summarize a little bit, too, of what, there have been some good things that have come from the conversations that we've had
Yes.
in these meetings. In this, we've recognized the PPE need, and there is some language in there for staff safety. And we've also recognized the professional development need, and the 2 extra days at the beginning of the year, and getting some training done. And that we also recognize the voice that, and the important voice that you have in the day-to-day operations. And that's where we had, maybe not in the contract, but there is a form now where your voice is going to be part of the interdisciplinary team to ensure that what you go through on a day-to-day basis is also being recorded and being part of that student's file. So I know we're back and forth, but I do want to just recognize that in this, there has been conversations that has promoted some very good things that has come out of this.
This is true. That is true. The items that I'm talking about that are rejected are monetary. And so I appreciate that, and our staff appreciates that those conversations have happened, and those are in place, and it does, feel a little bit different.
And I think that on the note of moving forward, as Jonna said, we have not gotten many substantive counters from the district on a lot of the things that we found important. We got rejections, and then we countered with ourselves because they were important enough. If you're worried about budgetary constraints, I would expect to see something like a phase-in of increases, or increases that are backloaded, or increases that are based on seniority or something. And besides the district's initial proposal to include wages based on degrees, expand the degrees, we haven't gotten any of that. And as Jonna mentioned, with today, this is the first time that we heard anything about what next year's budget looks like. So that's all useful.
Just to clarify, I think we had our initial wage proposal, we came back with a secondary wage proposal, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. But
But
you
the-
added the,
But what was,
But for here, we didn't add anything for wage.
but
Right.
the important things to us in the contract are the things, some of the items were rejected, or the wording, the counter on the wording, we had said was unacceptable, and that we wanted something different. Those are the important pieces to the staff. And that's the hangup, to be
and
honest with you.
when we're talking about things like annualized wages, which are perfectly legal, and which the district would be able to do if you decided to do so, we are trying to keep people from getting those $50, $100 checks. proposing as a solution to that, that people with perfect attendance records can gain half a day, when we've already talked about how often people are injured. I think 5 of the people who are here today were showing me injuries that they received over the last week as we were coming in, including injuries from people who have PPE available, but it doesn't fit them, so they can't wear it all the time, so they have nail marks on their arm. The idea that folks in those sorts of situations are only worth getting extra pay that they can use over their breaks if they don't use their sick days, I don't find to be creative. I find to be deeply problematic. And that's me responding. Obviously, we haven't pulled it for the team.
Right.
But that's tough. And this is going to take a lot to look back on. And regarding my theatrics earlier,
Or mine.
or yours, you have given us proposals that you are not then consistent with talking about. I would say that that is fully regressive, whether it's intentional or not. We've had multiple instances now where your commentary on items that you've given us after the fact are different than when you give it to us. And at the core of bargaining is that we need to be clear with what we're proposing so that people can respond. I won't enumerate that further now, that's for a different venue, but if we don't get what you're proposing, we cannot respond to it. And we came in here with the understanding that your package proposal accepted our vacation time proposals, because that is what you wrote in the package you gave to us prior to today. And you are now saying that that was in error. So we can work with that, but when it's the 4th time that sort of thing has happened, it calls a lot of things into question regarding how much effort you all are putting in on your documents that you're sharing with us, and then the specifics of any of these proposals and the validity of it. Disappointing is a good word. Should we adjourn for tonight and figure out times for later? Should we caucus? Your call, President Peliquin.
Do we want a caucus? Do we want a discussion?
Discussion? No.
No. Everyone's done? It doesn't work? Okay.
Okay. So we will follow up with times we can meet again.
All right.
And please send us a digital copy of what the correct package that you are proposing tonight is.
Will do.
Heather, do you want to adjourn the meeting?
Yes, I'd like to adjourn the Douglas School Committee DESPA negotiations at 5:27 on June 13th.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks. Roll call vote to adjourn.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you all.
Have a good